We talk about decision making, again, a topic in organizational behavior. Uh, Decisions have to be made by executives, managers, businessmen, entrepreneurs at various levels. Lots of decisions have to be made, and there is no escaping that. In professional management, decision making should be pushed at various levels. Top level decisions or strategic decisions should be made by top management. Tactical decisions should be made by middle management. Operational decisions should be made by junior management or executives. So you have to delegate decision making authority and responsibility. That is what professional management says. And escaping decision making is not possible. Decision making is a tricky, complex, difficult thing to do many times. So there are levels of decision making: senior level decisions, junior level decisions, middle level decisions. There can be programmed or non programmed decisions. Programmed decisions are easy, they are repetitive, they have to be made repetitively, they are mechanical, they are routine, and they are guided by the policies, the system, the structure, the authority, the responsibility, and the overall organizational system that has been set up. There are policies and there are guidelines in place. So these decisions are not complex, they are guided by the policies. So they can be made easily, they are routine. How to make those decisions, there are guidelines available. So they are made repeatedly, frequently. Junior level people can make them. Right. Unprogrammed or non-programmed decisions are where there are complex decisions, guidelines are not available, they are major decisions sometimes, and they can arise at a higher level, at a strategic level, and they have to be generally made by top level management where a lot of structured thinking is not available. So these decisions, one would like to make database decisions, one would like to collect as much data as possible and decision making so that it can be more informed, but many decisions involve a lot of risk and data is not available. And then one has to do satisficing kind of decision making. This term was coined by American political scientist Herbert Simon. Satisficing is when you collect as much information as you can, and then based on that information you make the decision. You will never be able to have all the information that you want. So you will have to make do with whatever information you get. Information should be satisfactory, and that satisfactory thing would have to suffice. It is satisfactory, it is not perfect, it is not full. The information that you have to take the decision is not complete, it will never be complete, but it is satisfying enough. It is sufficiently satisfactory. So it has to do, it has to suffice, it has to be sufficiently satisfactory. It can't be perfect, it can't be beyond, it can't go beyond the level of satisfaction or make do level. It will have to do, it will have to suffice. So satisficing is collect as much information as you can, be satisfied with it, think that it suffices, and take a decision. You can't wait. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of waiting to collect more and more data. Nobody has all the information that he needs to make those decisions. So decision making involves some element of risk, and all the information is not available. So though one would like to have decision making to be as data driven, data based, and scientific and logical and rational, sometimes there is uncertainty involved in decision making. Decision making can be individual or group decisions. Group decisions are not always bad. We do talk of death by committee. Sometimes committees don't decide anything and take a lot of time, and but sometimes group decision making helps because an individual decision maker has more confidence when there are more people who support him. Plus, when there is a group, the group members can all contribute. So the decision making is, you can maybe take more, you can get more inputs, more ideas, the decision making will be more informed and more enriched with various views and ideas, so that it will become a more robust process, hopefully. So you may arrive at a better decision if you discuss with people, because you can get new information, two heads better than one sort of a thing, new information, new perspectives. So sometimes it helps. At the same time, there are two risk factors in group decision making: group think or group shift. Group think is, in a group there is a desire for consensus building, to conform to the consensus, and so generally it becomes very conservative, and the desire for consensus overrides any desire for making sound, rational decisions which might be different, which might be offbeat, which might not conform. The norm is to take less risk. Everybody agrees, everybody is forced to agree. So you are sacrificing the accuracy of the decision, the necessity of the right decision, and all that. You are just making a decision that everybody agrees. So you are kind of least common denominator sort of a thing. If you do anything that is a bit different, then somebody will disagree. So you try to please everybody, you try to make everybody agree. And the correct decision may be one that others don't agree with. And the not so perfect decision would be one where everybody agrees. So the desire to conform or to have a consensus can sometimes override the necessity to get a better decision, because a better decision might be more radical or different from what the majority is thinking. So this is groupthink. The other aspect is group shift, where sometimes the force of the group thinking makes you more conservative or more adventurous. Both the extremes are possible. Individually left to it, the members have, some members are conservative, some members are risk takers. But when they come in a group and the discussion happens, the group dynamics makes everybody more conservative, and you arrive at a much more conservative decision than you would have normally have made if the group had not existed. So the group shifts you toward extreme conservatism, which is beyond the normal thing or beyond the desirable level of conservatism. Or sometimes the other thing happens. The group suddenly becomes more adventurous and pushes you towards taking a decision which is much more risky than what you would have done if the group had not existed. Both the extremes are possible. The group forces you to take a riskier decision, more risky than what is desirable, or more conservative than what is desirable. The shift is possible in both the directions. So group think and group shift and not deciding or wasting time are the problems with group decision making. If you talk about, and we talked about professional management, delegation or empowerment, empowering people to take, professionals to take decisions at their level and all that. Now, we have talked about programmed and non-programmed decisions. We have talked about groupthink, group norm, and group shift. Collective wisdom is the possible positive aspect of group decision making, enriching, those sorts of things. But decision making involves an individual decision making. When it comes to, if we talk of individual decision making, one would like to say decisiveness or indecisiveness. This is perhaps a characteristic or a personality trait. Some people are decisive, some people are not decisive. And that's like Hamlet, to be or not to be. Some people procrastinate, some people can't make up their minds because decision making is risky. It is like you do something, now it is not theory. What you do will have an impact, will have consequences, and you are scared of the consequences because it is unknown. You would like to wait and be sure that everything is going to turn out perfectly, but you can never be sure. As I said, there is not all information is not possible. You can't predict the future. So you are scared that something will go wrong or there will be risk involved and all that. So that risk taking is a problem. That uncertainty is a problem. So some people are unable to make up their minds. In such cases, if there is a deadline that by this time decision must be made, maybe they will be forced to take a decision, or maybe somebody will have to take the job for them. Somebody will, either you will have to outsource your decision to somebody else, or somebody will have to take the initiative and make the decision on your behalf, or a group will have to get together and force you into taking a decision. So decision making is about decisiveness, And decisiveness is an issue. You can think, analyze, but there is analysis paralysis. You can keep on thinking and waiting, but pressing the button, doing it, taking the decision, pulling the trigger is a bit difficult for some people. So that is analysis paralysis. You keep on thinking, keep on analyzing. Sometimes instinctive decisions or gut feel decisions are supposed to be good. Sometimes they can also be wrong. I mean, it's not, there is nothing that has been conclusively proved that gut feel is always right, or instincts are always right, or intuition is always right. But when there is confusion between what the mind says and the heart says, if you close your eyes and go by what your impulse tells you to do, maybe it will not be the right decision, but you will still be happy that you followed your instincts. It may not be the right decision, but you will have the satisfaction of following your gut. You could be proven wrong. So gut feel decisions sometimes are right, sometimes are wrong. They are not necessarily right. When one doesn't decide, one feels happy that all the options are open. But decision making sacrifices that. It takes away your freedom of the openness or unavailability of multiple options. You have to choose one option, and that means you are closing or foregoing the other options. So decision making makes you choose, giving up the liberty of having all the options and selecting on one particular option. So that is a psychological problem for many people. So decisiveness is a trait, and it's a difficult thing for many people. So there are various ways, like have a deadline, make somebody else do it for you, make a group force you to take decisions and all that, to overcome your indecisiveness. But decisions have to be made, and there is no way out of it. There is, you can try to analyze, you can take a lot of opinions, you can take a lot of data, but sometimes there is an element of risk and uncertainty, and you just have to deal with it. Thank you.